There's nothing more significant that would be or will be in life. The opportunity to bring someone out of the darkness and into light, from hell to heaven, from an eternity without God to an eternity with God. And I thank him every night for saving me out of the depths of my darkness. If it wasn't for him, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here. I was medically, clinically dead over a dozen times. So because of his will and his power and his grace, I'm standing in front of you giving this testimony. Unless there is within us that which is above us, we will soon yield to that which is around us.
Yeah, wow.
I was born and raised in a small town in Prague, Minnesota, where it snows. People in Miami don't know what snow is. To give you an idea of how small this town was, when I graduated high school in 2002, the population was 2,300 people. Needless to say, everyone knew each other, which is a good and a bad thing. I'm the oldest of 4 boys, and I don't know my parents how they kept food on the table. I don't know how, but they did, and a roof over our head. I've always had a good work ethic, being taught if you wanted something, you would have to earn it. I've always lived for other people. I always felt I needed to portray this image that I had developed of being in control of my life and of others. If you had a problem, I had a solution. I don't have any problems or any issues, and I'm a leader or manager or whatever I was in that position, so I'm supposed to have all the answers. But contrary to belief, I was hurt and had a lot of problems. I was broken deep down, and that's why I kept people at arm's length, not allowing them to get close. I didn't have true, real relationships. They were superficial, and everyone wore a mask. I'm nervous, can you tell?
You got it.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Only by the grace of God. I was raised Roman Catholic, went to CCD class, and was confirmed at the St. Paul Cathedral. So I was always a believer, but I never understood what it meant to have a relationship with God, nor did I follow his ways. Growing up, my dad was very strict and controlling, along with a terrible temper. There was many times I manifested into a lack of communication, which I was really walking on eggshells. Being the oldest sibling, along with the expectations of not only my parents, there was always this bar set too high for me, and I lived as if that bar was always just out of reach, and regardless of my efforts, nothing was good enough. I began smoking pot, drinking, rebelling. I felt like a bird trapped in a cage, and once I was free, that was it, I was gone. I learned to be disciplined, having wrestled for 13 years, most of the time cutting weight, so you're part of a team. If you're not able to get that weight, then you let your team down. So the discipline I had in terms of my life, I never learned. I wasn't responsible, so it led me into a lot of trouble really quick. The Taurus that I was, being hard-headed, stubborn, and determined to accomplish whatever I set my mind to, you didn't want to be the person to get in my way. I remember shortly after getting my car, it was after wrestling practice, I was heading home. I was making this left turn, and I quickly glanced to my right, and this car was going too fast, and it ended up clipping my right side. I swerved trying to hit it, but I couldn't. At first I was terrified. It was my first car accident. I was like 17. I was more worried that he was all right, which he ended up being just fine. The whole time he's yelling at me for the accident. It's his fault. It was his fault anyway. He just shot me when he was a little kid, and he's this old guy that came out with a cane, and I'm like, oh my lord. We both looked at the damage and decided to exchange insurance. As I'm getting the information from the old man, he's proceeded to get into his car and drove off. I didn't get a chance to get a plate number or even his name. I remember sitting in my car scared to call my parents or the police, for that matter. I was very upset and angry, letting my emotions get the best of me. I ended up getting a bottle and picking up a high school buddy, which turned into a high-speed chase from the cops, and I ended up in jail, charged with a felony for being a police officer in a motor vehicle at the age of 17. For the next 6 months, before going to the first period of my class, I had to report to an officer, who then gave me a breathalyzer. So imagine that, going through high school with a DUI on the record. So it wasn't really, it was hard, it was tough. I lost my car, I lost my license. This would mark the start of my insubordination and a lack of respect toward authority. With my parents' support and my lawyer explaining to the judge my plans for joining the military to become a crew chief, the charges were dropped to a misdemeanor. But of course, I had to screw that up as well. Never having the opportunities to serve our country and make myself, something better or anything like that. Literally 8 days before my ship date, I was charged with another DUI. My parents had it with me. I was kicked out. I moved in with my uncle Andre, my grandpa on my mom's side. I look back and think what could have